Hello, all you freedom-loving people. Welcome to another episode of Front Page. I'm your host, Scott Cameron Goulet. In the first hearing of the impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden, the House of Representatives detailed the Biden family's receipt of overseas funds. Republicans allege that the evidence shows that the Biden family was peddling access to Joe Biden. The federal government is already preparing for the shutdown, but the House of Representatives was the first to pass a defense appropriations bill, and this bill does not include support for Ukraine. President Trump made two decisions. First, he will not participate in any Republican presidential debates. Second, he will not transfer the Georgia indictment to federal court. Some Republicans have even called for an end to the Republican presidential debates altogether because they are meaningless. Katie Hobbs, the controversial Arizona governor, has temporarily stepped down from office for unknown reasons. The length of her absence is also unclear. Dianne Feinstein, the Senate's oldest member and longest-serving California Democrat, has died. Mortgage rates continue to rise, but home prices have not come down either. Okay, let's get into it. The Biden administration issued a notice to federal agency civil servants on Thursday stating that if Congress fails to provide a new budget after September 30th, then the federal government is about to shut down. The Biden administration has officially started the response process for the federal government shutdown. On the same day, the House passed a defense appropriations bill by a vote of 217 to 211. This bill does not include $300 million in Ukraine-related funding. Only one Republican voted against the bill. This is a major step forward as votes on the defense appropriations bill have been blocked twice due to controversy within the Republican Party over the $300 million in aid to Ukraine that was initially included in the bill. The Ukraine aid issue has also become a major sticking point for Congress in the U.S. government shutdown debate. On Tuesday, the Senate passed a cross-party continuing resolution extending funding for government operations through November 17th while providing approximately $6 billion each for the domestic disaster relief in Ukraine and the U.S. But it did not include additional funding for border security measures. McCarthy has refused to allow the House to vote on the legislation in the Senate, saying that if a short-term government appropriations bill that includes Ukraine aid does not include Republican priorities such as border security measures, it is a non-starter for House Republicans to allow the bill to pass. Before we move on, we have something that we know many of you are looking for. Why would you give your money to people who hate you? That's the question Larry Elder asked when he was looking for a bank. He saw that too many banks are canceling hard-working, law-abiding Americans simply because they don't like what they do or what they stand for. So Larry got together with John Rich, Dr. Ben Carson, and some really smart bankers and technology experts, and they created their own bank, the Old Glory Bank. It's built on one simple, strong, irrefutable principle, the United States Constitution, that brilliant document that forged this great nation out of freedom and liberty. Those same values created Old Glory Bank, a bank that values freedom, faith, and family, privacy, security, and liberty. It's a bank named after the flag that represents the fabric of this country. It's a bank that will never cancel you for believing in the greatness of America. Old Glory Bank has one physical location in the heart of Oklahoma, but because they created a seamless mobile and online banking experience, they have customers in all 50 states. Old Glory Bank stands with you, so open an account today at oldglorybank.com. It should only take 8 minutes. Okay, let's get back into it. After Wednesday's Republican presidential debate, President Trump decided not to participate in any future Republican presidential debates. Chris Lachavita, a senior advisor to President Trump's 2024 campaign, confirmed by saying President Trump said he's not going to attend the debates, plural, and that's his position until it's not. President Trump's decision may have had something to do with the drabness of Wednesday's debate. 7 candidates took the stage at Wednesday's debate, but President Trump, who didn't show up, was one of the most mentioned names. The other 2 names were Ronald Reagan and Joe Biden. President Reagan was regarded as a near mythical leader. President Biden was seen as the nation's nemesis. President Trump, on the other hand, has gotten mixed comments from these candidates. Some praise the Trump administration for its accomplishments. Others criticize him for his dereliction of duty. His absence from the debate also gave these candidates a chance to blame him. That's because these candidates can't find anything new to talk about. The highlights of this debate actually had some surprises. For example, the 3 moderators, Fox News hosts Dana Perino and Stuart Varney, and also Ilya Calderon, struggled to keep control of the debate because the candidates were out of order. There were private conversations, interruptions, people inserting their own opinions into questions that were posed to others, and quite often they ignored the time limits for answering questions. After the debate, Chris Lachavita, a spokesperson for President Trump, told reporters that the spectacle he witnessed was enough for President Trump to skip future debates. Lachavita said that rather than a debate, it looked like a contest for who's going to be the designated survivor. A designated survivor is an heir apparent who has been chosen to remain in a secure location during an assembly of senior officials, such as the president, vice president, and cabinet, in the event of an accident or terrorist attack that would result in the death or incapacitation of all of the other government's leadership. During the second debate, Ramaswamy showed some differences from the first debate. In the first Republican debate, he was aggressive, but at this event, he almost apologized for it. Ramaswamy said that, "I'm the new guy here, and so I know I have to earn your trust." He also said, "What do you see? You see a young man who's in a bit of a hurry, maybe a little ambitious, a bit of a know-it-all it seems at times. I'm here to tell you, no, I don't know it all. I will listen." Most of the time during the second debate, the candidates just attacked each other. Of course, this is the norm in presidential debates. Lachavita opined that the Republican National Committee should question whether future debates would help the party. Lachavita asked, "What good does it do to have a group of people who stand around and do nothing but beat up on the forerunner? Who has this really helped? That helps Joe Biden." In the end, most of the audience who watched this debate may agree that no candidate on the stage could hope to unseat President Trump as the presumptive Republican nominee. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich said on Thursday that President Trump will be the 2024 Republican presidential nominee, and he suggested that the GOP should cancel future debates. Gingrich also said, "I was talking to our mutual friend, the pollster Matt Towery, this afternoon, and Matt said to me, based on what he saw last night, this race is over. Donald Trump will be the nominee. They might as well quit having the various debates because they don't work. They're not helping anyone. I think the Republican National Committee should cancel the future debates and say, look, we recognize the objective fact that Trump will be the nominee. We want to work with him." On Thursday, President Trump made another decision. He will no longer seek to move his Georgia election case to federal court. The decision came as a surprise because 3 weeks ago on September 7th, President Trump's attorney Steve Sadow notified Superior Court Judge Scott McPhee that President Trump might seek a transfer of the case. President Trump's lawyer said in a court filing in Fulton Superior Court that President Trump now notifies the court that he will not be seeking to remove this case to federal court. This decision is based on his well-founded confidence that this honorable court intends to fully and completely protect his constitutional right to a fair trial and guarantee him due process of law throughout the prosecution of this case in the Superior Court of Fulton County, Georgia. 5 of President Trump's 18 co-defendants are actively trying to get their cases transferred to federal court. The earliest request for removal was made by Mark Meadows, Trump's former White House chief of staff, but Judge Steve Jones of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Georgia denied his request earlier this month. Several other referrals have been filed, including Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, and Kenneth Chesebro. They may have an uphill battle ahead of them. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs has stepped down, although it is only temporary. The news quickly made the rounds on the internet since the governor has been a constant source of controversy ever since she took office. The reason for the governor's temporary departure is unknown, and it is also unknown how long it will last. Arizona's Republican Treasurer, Kimberly Yee, served as acting governor during the time the governor was out of office. Yee announced in a press release on X that she would serve as interim governor from later Wednesday evening until mid-morning on Thursday. However, this period of time may be extended. This came after controversy raged about some of Hobbs's nominees awaiting state Senate confirmation. Hobbs abandoned the long-used process of appointing the heads of state agencies that would normally be subject to Senate confirmation, and she gave the new title of Executive Deputy Director to the 13 nominees. This was meant to allow them to skip Senate confirmations and to continue with work as official agency directors. Obviously, this is a blatant circumvention of the law. Yee consulted with lawyers regarding this issue. Under the law, nominees can serve for 1 year without confirmation. But according to Yee, because Hobbs withdrew the nominees from any Senate confirmation process, there is no longer any record of a process that would allow these directors to serve for 1 year without Senate confirmation, even as unconfirmed interim directors. The Republican state treasurer has refused to acknowledge the authority of two top directors who were appointed by Hobbs. The treasurer stated that she would wait for Hobbs to return and complete the vacancies in the 13 agencies. The oldest member of Congress, Senator Dianne Feinstein, has passed away at the age of 90. Dianne Feinstein became a U.S. Senator in 1992. She was re-elected 5 times. Her health had become a topic of public concern recently. Last August, she was briefly hospitalized after a fall. After contracting shingles in March, she spent several months in the hospital. Complications from the infection led to facial paralysis. When she returned to the Senate, she was pushed in a wheelchair. During a Senate Appropriations Committee meeting in July to approve 12 appropriations bills, Senator Dianne Feinstein launched into a speech mid-vote. When asked for a voice vote, she paused at the outset and searched for her words. Her colleague, committee chair Patty Murray, instructed her to just say yay, but she didn't seem to hear the instructions, and she read directly from her script. She said, "I'd like to support a yes vote on this. It provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense." And Murray's repeated instructions that Feinstein should just say yay when ignored, until a staffer interrupted Feinstein, whispering in her ear. She then voted yay, and the vote continued. She's not the only elderly senator plagued by health issues. Senator Mitch McConnell froze twice during press conferences. The first time he froze for nearly 20 seconds, the second time he froze for even longer. This prompted calls for his resignation, but McConnell insists that his health is fine. The seat held by Dianne Feinstein will be temporarily filled by a person chosen by California Governor Gavin Newsom. Until a replacement is confirmed, the Senate becomes 50 Democrats to 49 Republicans. House Republicans held the first impeachment inquiry hearing on Thursday. It was fueled by allegations that Joe Biden financially benefited from his family's foreign business dealings. The chairman of the Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means Committees used the opening hearing to review constitutional and legal questions involved in impeachment. During the hearing, Republicans sought to link Joe Biden to his family finances and explain why a formal impeachment inquiry provides the right resources for lawmakers to investigate. James Comer, the Oversight Chairman, said that the lawmakers have a mountain of evidence that will show that the elder Biden abused his public office for his family's financial gain. The hearing did not feature witnesses about the Bidens or Hunter Biden's business. Instead, the panel heard from outside experts in tax law, criminal investigations, and constitutional legal theory. Meanwhile, Democrats and Republicans were at odds on the House Oversight Committee. some House Republicans tried to paint a picture of broad corruption among Democratic lawmakers. They referenced Senator Bob Menendez's recent federal corruption charges. While Menendez pleaded not guilty to the allegations, some Republicans tried to connect the Democratic leaders to the scandal. Representative Glenn Grothman said during the hearing, "What bothers me a little is I'm beginning to think, Americans are beginning to think, this behavior by the Biden family is normal. I'm kind of afraid they're going to say, well, President Biden is a politician." Democrats, on the other hand, repeatedly sought to refocus attention on President Trump during the hearing. Democratic lawmakers have also pointed to the looming government shutdown, which may happen this weekend if no spending bill is passed. They were urging Congress to take up other issues instead. However, James Comer defended the hearing and the broader investigation process. He apologized to the witnesses and he accused Democrats of suggesting that Republicans have already decided on impeaching Joe Biden. Hours after the hearing wrapped up, Comer issued subpoenas for additional banking records from Hunter Biden's personal and business accounts and from the president's brother, James Biden. Comer said that the panel will continue to follow the money and the evidence to provide accountability. Ultimately, Comer summed up his remarks in the hearing by outlining the next steps in the investigation, and he summarized the day. Comer said,
"The bottom line is that the committee has shown the Bidens alone have brought in over $15 million in their foreign influence peddling, over $24 million if you account for their associates' earnings from the schemes. We have established in the first phase of this investigation where this money has come from: Ukraine, Romania, Russia, Kazakhstan, China. It didn't come from selling anything legitimate. It largely went unreported to the IRS. It was funneled through shell companies and third parties to hide the Biden's fingerprints. This deserves investigation. This deserves accountability. The American people expect this committee to investigate public corruption." Now, we know much of the money goes to Hunter Biden, Haley Biden, James Biden, Sarah Biden, other Biden family members and their business entities. What we need to understand is where it goes next. That is the question this committee seeks to answer, and the evidence supports that next step. Joe Biden showed up, met with, ate with, talked with, shook hands with, and had meetings with, including in the White House, the foreign individuals sending millions of dollars to his family who sold access to him. This was no illusion of access. They got access.
U.S. mortgage rates have risen above 7%, which is the highest since the year 2000, impacting people's willingness to apply for a home loan and causing the demand for mortgages to fall to a near 27-year low. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, their seasonally adjusted index says that the average contract rate for 30-year fixed-rate mortgages rose to 7.41%, and the rate for 30-year fixed jumbo mortgages rose to 7.34%. These are the highest rates in history since the MBA began counting jumbo rate series in 2011. Mortgage applications for the week ending on September 22nd were down 25.5% compared to the same week a year ago. Mortgage refinance applications followed suit, dropping 21% this week from a year ago. After all, few borrowers have mortgage rates that are high enough to benefit from refinancing. While historically high interest rates are now discouraging potential buyers, home prices are also still moving higher. This is because the supply of homes for sale in the market is also at an all-time low. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard today, please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family, because everybody deserves to know the truth. Again, thank you for watching Front Page, and we will see you next time.